Hi math friends, today we're looking at adding and subtracting integers. So we're going to look at first what are integers, what do we already know, and then we're going to look at tricks that turn into treats because they will always work. First of all, integers are whole numbers and their opposites. Examples, a whole number like 5, the opposite would be negative 5. A whole number like 11, the opposite is negative 11. But if I start with a negative number like negative 7, the opposite would be positive 7. Remember that 0 is also a whole number. Its opposite would be itself. What do we already know? Problem like 4 plus 2 that we've learned in elementary school, we know that that's 6. Let's use a number line just for consistency with our lesson. So start at 4, add 2, I would go to the right 2 spaces, and I end at 6. That shows us that this is 6. Let's use negative numbers now. Starting at 7 and then adding a negative 5. Start at 7. Adding a negative 5 means I'm going to move to the left 5 spaces. So my result is 2. 7 plus negative 5 is 2. So let's try a few more. Negative 2 plus negative 1. Feel free to pause this and do these on your own and then check. So that's right, start at negative 2. Plus negative 1, I'm going to move backwards 1 space. So negative 2 plus negative 1 is negative 3. 4 plus negative 7. Start at 4. Plus negative 7, so I'll go backwards 7. So 4 plus negative 7 is negative 3. Using the number line can help us, and as we practice more and more, we're going to develop patterns. So as you develop these patterns, you're going to notice these things with some practice. If we had two integers that are either both positive or both negative, the result will have what the sign was originally. So we're going to think of adding those values and then put the original sign on there. If we add two integers that are positive and negative, so we have different signs, it is like subtracting them, then seeing what had the larger absolute value originally. So remember this, come back to this when you need to because we'll see some examples and make sense of these statements here. So if they have the same sign, 7 plus 10, I'm going to think to myself, what's 7 plus 10? That is 17. And they're both positive, so my answer is positive 17. Negative 2 and negative 9, I'm going to think to myself, draw my thought bubble here, what's 2 plus 9? So that's 11. And then I look, originally both of those are negative, so that's going to be a negative 11. If they have different signs, this is where we'll think of subtracting them. So do the absolute value of each. Remember, absolute value is how far the number is from 0. So in my mind, I'm doing 11 minus 2, and I get 9. Then I need to look at both of these numbers, 2 and negative 11. Which one has the larger absolute value? Which one is further from 0? Negative 11 is further from 0. So my answer is going to be the negative version of that number, negative 9. 4 plus negative 4. One is positive, one is negative. Think of subtracting them. 4 minus 4, that's 0. Opposite of 0 would just be 0, so our answer is 0. 100 plus negative 17, same idea. Think in our mind, what is 100 minus 17? That's 83. Then I look, which one is further from 0? 100 is further from 0 than negative 17, so the answer is positive 83. These tricks are actually treats because they always work. So what about subtracting? Remember that subtracting is the opposite of adding. So using this, we can actually create addition instead of subtraction. Then we can use what we've already learned. 6 minus negative 2. So if I start at 6, and I think of subtracting a negative, I'm thinking of the opposite. So I'm actually going to go forward 2 spaces. So my answer is 8. Here's a little trick we can do that turns into a treat though. Instead of minus negative, I can change this minus into a plus and then change the other sign too. So actually I have 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2, same sign, we add them together, and they're both positive. It's 8. Couple more examples here. 100 minus negative 12. So instead of minus negative, we're going to change this to plus, change the second sign. So then I think of 100 plus 12. This might look a little redundant here to write it again, but it's important to help us understand. And these are all equivalent, so we write the equal sign here too. So we get 112, and they were both positive before we added. Negative 4 minus 5. Well, instead of this, we're going to say let's do plus. And this 5 is positive, so we're going to have to change that to negative to keep this equal. So now I have negative 4 plus negative 5. And using what we were doing before, both of these have the same sign. 4 plus 5 would be 9. And they're both negative, so it's actually negative 9. All right, last one we're going to look at together, negative 10 minus negative 50. We're going to change this into plus, change the other sign too. So now I have negative 10 plus 50. So they're both different signs, so in my mind I need to do 50 minus 10, and I get 40. And then I look, which one is further from 0 originally, the 10 or the 50? Well, the 50 is. 50 is further from 0. So my answer is going to be the positive version of that, positive 40. All right, get some practice with these, and thank you for watching this.